Emotional availability is the ability to maintain emotional ties within relationships. Since it is almost impossible to establish a good relationship without an emotional connection, emotionally unavailable individuals often find partnerships difficult. Instead, they may choose to date informally and keep their distance. Suppose you've been dating a person for around 6 months. You have many similarities as well as an excellent sexual chemistry, yet something feels amiss. Perhaps they avoid discussing emotional experiences or talk extensively about their lives and interests but never inquire about yours. The seeming lack of interest might make you question whether or not they like you. However, your involvement continues, whether it is a relationship or something less serious, so you conclude that they must have feelings for you. The good news is that they most likely do. The bad news is they may lack emotional availability. Does this sound familiar? Are you emotionally unavailable? Welcome to Relentless Man. Hit the subscribe button, the like button, and the notification bell. Please share our channel and look out for our up-and-coming videos. In this video today, we are going to turn the tables. Imagine you are the one dealing with an emotionally unavailable partner. In all situations, no matter what issue the person has with you, seeing their perspective can help you acknowledge that you have a problem that is causing concern for them. Then we are going to flip it again, and you can decide if you are the emotionally unavailable one and fix it if you want to. What causes a partner to lack emotional availability? Identifying emotional unavailability might be challenging. Many emotionally unavailable people have the ability to make you feel good about yourself and optimistic about your relationship's future. But if, despite a promising beginning, you never develop a deeper connection, they might not be able to sustain anything beyond a casual relationship during this time. The following indicators might help you identify a partner's emotional unavailability. They are terrible at making plans. People who are emotionally unavailable are often less inclined to make commitments, whether they be modest or substantial. Perhaps you propose meeting up next week. They enthusiastically concur, so you seek clarification as to which date works best for them. They respond, "Let me check and get back to you," but you never hear from them again. Or they may remark, "I'll write it down in my diary." However, when the time comes, they have an excellent excuse as to why they cannot go. You are doing all the work. When was the last time they sent a text message that was not a direct response? Feel somewhat irritated that they have never set up a date or initiated plans. There's a strong probability they're emotionally unavailable. If you do all the phoning, messaging, and planning, they like to spend time with you when it's convenient for them. However, they do not want to work for it. Unless you make things happen, they likely won't. When you're not spending time together, you seldom hear from them. Perhaps they take days to respond to your messages or completely disregard certain messages, particularly those that are significant. They could remark, "I'd prefer discuss significant matters in person," which sounds fantastic until they do not follow through. They are the shot caller. When you do see each other, they often select an activity that corresponds with their typical schedule. They may play the most recent episode of their favorite television program, even if you have never watched it. Or maybe they want your help around the house. This does not necessarily indicate a problem, particularly if they seem open to your comments. But if they never ask you what you'd like to do or get annoyed when you don't want to take part in their plans, it may be time to evaluate if the relationship is really meeting your needs. Your relationship with them stays stagnant. In the early stages of their relationship, they show their insecurities and express how much they appreciate spending time together, but nothing ever becomes serious. It is tempting to try and make things work with a emotionally distant person. Like this, you may assume that they only need to discover the right person. If you can communicate with them when no one else can, then your connection has the capacity to last, right? You only need to exert a bit more effort. However, emotional unavailability might trap you in this way. You will continue to spend energy in the connection with the hope of becoming closer in the future until they put in some effort. Meanwhile, they will continue to avoid reciprocity, leaving you emotionally weary and unable to continue. They don't use the R word. Emotional unavailability might be accompanied with anxieties of commitment and intimacy. You may engage in relationship behaviors with a person, such as going on dates, spending the night together, or seeing each other's friends, but they are unwilling to discuss the possibility of an official relationship. As long as casual dating is maintained, things work rather well. But if you try to navigate deeper waters, they may retreat to the safety of the beaches of casual dating. Caution is called for if someone you're associated with says, "I'm not looking for anything serious." Unless, of course, you want to keep things casual. Casual chats extensively about a recent ex, expresses unrequited affections for a friend, and claims to fear commitment. There is always a chance that you've caught them at a moment when they're ready to embrace change. Usually, though, a person who says these things rarely believes them. Have you ever been with someone like this? Or are you that someone? Perhaps any of the aforementioned indicators resonated with you as features you've seen in yourself or as observations made by previous partners. Emotional unavailability is not indicative of wrongdoing. You may not completely understand how it manifests in your relationships. Here are some indications to keep in mind. As obligations approach, you want to pull out. You made arrangements for a date tomorrow. Last week, you were enthusiastic at the time, but now giving up your spare time is the last thing on your mind. Taking adequate time for oneself is vitally essential. However, if you often cancel plans with your partner, it may be worthwhile to evaluate why you feel the need to limit your time together. You operate by maintaining possibilities. At some time, if you want a serious relationship, you will need to prioritize one person. Instead of discussing relationship goals with your present partner, such as long-term commitment or exclusivity, you continue swiping, going on dates, and generally keeping an eye out for better pastures. You may not want to settle for a less than ideal partner. However, this perspective might limit your ability to devote time and effort to someone you already care about. It is not always possible to find a perfect match, but it is still possible to have a wonderful relationship with someone who has their flaws. You fear losing yourself within a relationship. You are fiercely independent. You may fear that becoming close to a love partner will require you to give up your freedom. Perhaps you want to do things your way, on your timeline, and do not wish to alter your life to accommodate someone else. There is nothing wrong with it, but it may limit your availability. In a healthy relationship, individuals' demands and romantic commitments are balanced. Learning how to accomplish this in a manner that seems natural to you may need some time and investigation. You have difficulty learning to trust. If someone has already violated your confidence, you may avoid revealing your weaknesses to others. You may choose to keep your feelings and ideas to yourself so that they cannot be used against you. When a partner encourages you to discuss your emotions, you react by closing down or shifting the conversation. You continue to meet emotionally unavailable people. If you have a history of relationships with emotionally distant people, you should assess if you are receiving what you provide. At first, it may be simple and enjoyable to date someone who doesn't need much of you emotionally. But if you really want more from a relationship, these flings will not satisfy you for long. Emotional inaccessibility need not be permanent. However, this is a complicated problem, and certain underlying factors may be more difficult to address than others. Change occurs only when someone is willing to create it. Hence, it is impossible to make an emotionally inaccessible partner more accessible. Try taking these steps if you feel that you are emotionally unavailable. Identifying the causes of your emotional unavailability is the first step to opening up to your partner and becoming available. Exploring the underlying causes might provide insight into how to address emotional unavailability. If you've just had a traumatic breakup, for instance, you may need extra time before trying to get close to someone again. If anything more severe, such as a childhood neglect, hinders your ability to form strong relationships with others, it is advisable to see a therapist. Generally, coping with the impacts of trauma or abuse needs expert help. Upon realizing that you have been emotionally detached, you may want to quickly initiate a change. However, overnight improvement is unrealistic. True vulnerability takes time, and forces oneself to be vulnerable before you are ready might cause anguish or discomfort. A better strategy is small, progressive alterations. To put it another way, it's never a bad idea to leave your comfort zone, but you don't have to entirely abandon it. Involve your partner. As you investigate issues leading to emotional unavailability and try to become more emotionally accessible, share what you discover with your companion. If they get why you tend to withdraw, you may have an easier job gaining their support. Explore useful methods together, such as exchanging feelings through leaving each other notes, texting to stay in touch when you need physical space. Spend time with those who have solid relationships. When emotional unavailability arises from attachment problems or dysfunctional relationship patterns, it might be beneficial to have a better understanding of what healthy partnerships entail. Spending time with couples' healthy relationships is one approach to analyze good connections. Consider friends or family members with whom you have strong, long-term ties, particularly those with whom you spend a great lot of time. Observe their interactions with their partners. This does not offer a complete picture, but it may provide useful insight. Either party's emotional unavailability might create considerable dissatisfaction and anguish within a relationship, but it does not imply that you must end your relationship. Communicating with your partner or taking time to examine your own actions might help you in detecting potential problems and moving constructively through them. Especially if you don't appear to be making progress on your own. A therapist's patience, communication, and support will be beneficial. Thank you for watching Relentless Man. Hit the subscribe button, the like button, and the notification bell. Share our channel and look out for our up-and-coming videos. Until next time.